Oh, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, sometimes I worry about cooking for men. I'm like, I hope you love me. I know. Oh my God.
It doesn't even matter. The fact that you're doing it. It literally does not matter.
Is it the thought that counts?
Yes.
Is it? Because I cooked for a man once, and he's a picky eater, which is also an act.
Yeah, but he can correct you.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, are you hungry? Like, I started making food, and I made like a whole breakfast, or I made a whole dinner, and he did not eat the dinner. He's like, oh, I actually don't. I'm picky and I don't eat these things. And I was like,
was he a vegan?
No, he was just like a picky eater. Yeah. And I was just like, I just made you like potatoes and chicken and veggies.
It was a great meal.
And he just like picked at it. And I was like, old me was like, I'm never cooking for a man again. But then I was like, you know what? Somebody else will appreciate this.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah. And then that was also like, okay, not the one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like,
even if you fuck up cooking, it can also be a bonding moment. Like I had a guy I was dating and I fucked up the carrots and like he talked about that, but he also appreciated that I made food, you know?
Yes.
Like it can be a funny thing.
The effort that women put in absolutely matters. Like you notice it because guys never get things done for them. They never get compliments.
They never get flowers.
They never get flowers. Like the average guy remembers the one time some grandma at the checkout counter said he looked lovely.
Oh.
They'll remember that shit for 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for a woman to understand that because you guys get attention all the time from
all the
guys.
time.
But the average man will latch onto that shit and he'll identify with it. That will be like a building block for his self-esteem. That one time grandma said it looked cute. Or whatever.
You know
so,
what
like,
they
putting
say?
the effort in, like you said, it actually makes a difference. And if a guy doesn't respect that, if a guy's like doesn't even put the effort into like trying it, I think you made the correct decision
To back off, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember because like when I was younger, I used to do that. Like in college, I remember I had a one night stand. I was making breakfast and I like cooked them breakfast, and they were like, "This girl wants to marry me," and I was like, we're people. We just had sex. I'm hungry. You're not hungry. We both got to go to class. So I think like when I was younger, I was more willing to kind of like give in that regard. And then you get like, it's not appreciated. So that I see a lot of people, especially my age now, who are just tired of it. So they don't do it. But we've been having conversations with our friends where like, you got to make men feel special. They have to know that you want them. That's very important, and it doesn't make us weak or less than any of those things by us going out of our way to make a man feel special.
That is the tragedy of this whole situation. Is like you back then in college making a guy breakfast the next day. That's like if I got with a woman now at 36, I'm ready to like I want kids. I'm like if I saw that, I'm like that's wifey material instantly, right? But the guy you were with at that time, younger guy, wasn't thinking that shit at all.
Yeah.
You were doing the correct thing. Everything you did was correct. He was not ready for that commitment. He wants to play the field. Right? But the problem is that then you take that as, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Right. And you adjust your behavior accordingly, which most people do.
Yeah.
The problem is then you go through this fucking whole series of fuckboys or whatever. Because you're reacting to because your judgment is wrong because you're like your interpretation is like, oh, if I do nice things for a guy,
they think I'm easy or in love with them or like or needy, and I'm like, I'm just a nice person.
Yes.
This is what I want to do for you.
Because women nurture.
You were correct.
Yeah.
And then you adjust your behavior like, oh, I did something wrong by being a nice person, and now I have to be like combative or I have to like withhold my affection.
Toxic, and I don't want to be toxic, but now I'm like trying to play this game with you that I don't even want to be playing.
And then you've come full circle again, and now you're like, well,
no,
actually,
I was wifey.
I was wifey material. You were. I was wifey material then, and I'm going to repeat that behavior again.
Yeah, no, absolutely.